Hi and welcome to today's vlog. Now, yesterday we talked a little bit about the early settling in period in church in Doncaster. So for the first 5 years of Doncaster, I was a minister of just one church, Priory Place Methodist Church, right in the town centre. As I said yesterday, it was quite a traditional church, and there were some, I said yesterday, that wanted the church to stay the same. And in fact, on reflection, I think some really wanted to go back to what they saw as the golden years. But I was reminded this morning of a verse in the prophecy of Isaiah where God says this: "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" So it was about, I felt, recognising now God has called us to Doncaster. What is God saying? What is God wanting to do among us? But there was always that tension between those who were eager to move forward and those who really struggled with that concept. One of the things that really helped and encouraged me was that before we actually moved to Doncaster, I received a letter from a lovely lady who was still a very good friend of ours called Margaret, Auntie Margaret we call her. And in her letter, she was saying how much they were looking forward to us coming, and mentioned a particular verse in Paul's letter to the Thessalonians where Paul says, "Be joyful always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances." And Margaret adds, "You are in our prayers and thoughts as you prepare to come to Doncaster." So that knowledge that there were those praying for us and preparing for our arrival was really encouraging. When we actually went first to look round the church, we were shown around, and one person said, because it was a town centre church, people coming in all the time, and this person said to me, "Well, sometimes we get undesirables coming into church."
And we got a lot more in, didn't we?
Well, so the church, in some people's minds, was a particular type of church with a particular type of people that were appropriate. So when somebody came in who was different, that was a struggle for some. And we mentioned last time Share Jesus Mission, and Sue's going to tell you a little bit about one young man who, for a time, became part of our church, who came in through Share Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, Share Jesus was phenomenal, really, in bringing a change to the church, and a lot of prayer went on from the team and various people involved. And although the church was very used to having been open 3 times a week for coffee, when we used to serve hundreds and hundreds of people, we decided that joining Share Jesus, we'd do it for free. And anybody was welcome. So we got a lot of the guys off the streets coming in as well. And I can remember sitting and talking to these guys as they came in. Eventually I had a whole row of lads laid across the tables, fast asleep. So I had a really mind-numbing effect. No, mind-numbing effect on them. But it's one of the things that I look back on as being a bit funny. But one young man came, called Robert, who had got severe visual problems, and he really became part of the church. Eventually there was a small group who really took him on board and helped him to find somewhere to live and helped him to really change his life and get it in order. And it wasn't easy, but it was majorly changing in people's attitudes. And many people began to support him and make sure he was all right and care about him. And this was the beginning of quite a change in the way people started reflecting on others.
So that was good. Incidentally, by the way, despite my t-shirt, I'm not really this thick, so sorry if you're disappointed by that. One final thing I want to tell you today is, I mentioned when we were in Sheffield that I was part of a leaders' prayer fellowship. We met every week to pray together as leaders in the city. Well, not long after I arrived in Doncaster, I was invited to the Doncaster Leaders' Prayer Fellowship, and for 12 years I was part of that, and that was such a support to me, an encouragement. in so many ways, and it was great that there's that unity in the churches, and that was expressed in, I think it was 2002, right at the beginning. We had this city celebration, so the whole of the churches in Doncaster met together in our church, Priory Place, and for an evening of celebration and expression of unity. And there were probably over 400 people. 600. Well, don't tell the health and safety yet, people.
There were some people moaned that we crammed too many
yes,
people
some moaned we had too many people. But anyway, that's a good problem in church, isn't it? So we had this great celebration expressing our unity, and one of the aspects of that, they had this fish tank, and each of the leaders representing the different groupings and denominations poured some liquid into this tank to acknowledge that we're all different, we have different colours, but we are all one in Christ Jesus. And that was a great expression. I remember very fondly that time. Unfortunately, somebody after the service knocked the fish tank over, so made a stain on the carpet. So the property committee were not very happy with that. But that's a minor point. So that unity in the churches in the town of Doncaster was fantastic. So in many ways, a great start to our time in Doncaster, despite the different views of the people of the church about what they wanted and where they see the way forward. So we'll continue tomorrow talking a little bit about our time in Doncaster, which we'll look back very fondly. In fact, in about 3 months' time, we're moving back when I retire. So God bless you. Have a great day.